Welcome, STEMgineers, to STEM to Stern, the podcast where curiosity meets critical thinking. Join Chauntée and Jake as they discuss STEM topics that spark debate and exploration.
Hey everyone, welcome back to STEM to Stern. I'm Chauntée.
And I'm Jake.
And today we are going to talk about a topic that Jake is going to lead us on, which has something to do with
Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton,
one of the smartest people in history, right? He invented calculus. And then he also came up with the foundations of kinematics and physics. So he's a really smart guy, right?
He is.
Brilliant guy. Do you know Isaac Newton looked into the sun until he went blind?
He did?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, why though?
Well, so...
As an experiment?
So you would think that he would be smart enough to not do that. But Isaac Newton was very interested in studying sunspots. And so what he did is he went into a darkened room, and then he had a mirror set up so that he could study the surface of the sun by looking at the image in the mirror. Well, he thought his eyes would eventually adjust, but then eventually he went blind for like 3 days.
What?
And then for months afterward, he saw spots and had vision issues.
So you really can go blind by looking at the sun. It's not a myth.
You can.
It's a fact. Interesting. So he went blind he was studying the sunspots and he just did it too long?
Yeah, he decided to I don't know if they had filters at the time, but he just thought, my eyes will eventually adjust. So it shows that even the smartest people in history can be very stubborn.
That's a nice way of putting it, of course. Yeah, that's very interesting because I guess, so there wasn't a lot of technology, obviously, at that time that they could use to help filter out what you were looking at. So,
talking like the 1600s.
Yeah. In other words, no computers and things that help with that. So they were just staring at it, I guess.
Exactly.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
Also, an interesting little caveat there. Before I went off to grad school, I went to go visit the University of Louisville down in Kentucky.
Louisville?
Louisville.
We're starting something.
And I went to their library, and I had to put on gloves, but I got to touch a first edition of the Principia, which is like the foundational book of all Newtonian mechanics. And I got to touch it.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
And it's in Louisville? Is it still there?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go see it, that's where it's at.
They are currently having limited exposure because it's starting to get a little fragile. But you can see it on special occasions. They'll bring it out in a glass case.
That is so cool.
And then you can think about the time that Isaac Newton made himself go blind.
And be like, well, he was intelligent to a certain extent.
Exactly.
I love it.
Till next time.
Thanks for tuning in to STEM to Stern. We hope today's episode got you thinking. If you enjoyed the discussion, subscribe and share it with others. And be sure to check out our show notes for free resources and links that go along with today's episode. Until next time, keep questioning and keep exploring, STEMgineers.